Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Zakai, and today I've got you guys the Vault spawn guide. There was an update yesterday, that's why I didn't release it. I just had to redo it, make sure all the spawns and everything were good, and they are good. Nothing really has changed. There's been a tiny bit of a change in Rewind, but we're going to be jumping into that later on in a couple of days and everything like that, so nothing too crazy there. This time around, you do have two spawn points, basically. So you have a primary and a secondary, same as Modern Warfare 3, but now again you have a revenge spawn, what is what I call them, which is basically just one last chance the game gives you to kind of keep your side. For your blue side, you're looking at your primaries just behind this statue. There's 2 points there. You're looking at your secondaries inside here and here. And your revenge spawn is actually here, and one just behind this container on the scaffolding side. Again, if you want to make your enemies spawn at the revenge spawns, so for example, if we're a blue team, we want them to spawn here. Either they're gonna have to run up like this to get to point, or they're gonna have to run up like this. Whatever the case may be, the revenge spawns are usually the furthest from the point, so usually you want them to spawn there. Basically, the easiest ways to block basically the primary and secondaries is to get close to them. So for the blue team, if you push up to this red line right here, roughly around here, these will basically block the primary and secondary, and you're spawning in this revenge spawn. Same idea here. If you pull up to this vault door area right here, just behind this truck, basically this will block the primary and secondaries, and they're going to be spawning the revenge spawns. Again, keep in mind the 50% rule. If you have too many people above the halfway line, obviously spawn flips are way more likely. Now, with the return of a revenge spawn or a third spawn point, anchor role has become a lot more crucial as well. So the anchor role basically is a person, whoever is in this certain zone, about actually pretty much like 100% of the time, your team will always keep these spawns. Now, it can depend, obviously, like if the primary and secondary are blocked, then you'll just get the revenge spawns. More than likely of the time, you'll just get the primary, the closest spawn to the anchor. So this is the position on Vault if you want to anchor for this side, which in my opinion is the good side for P1 and P2. Again, a lot of these maps actually only have 4 points, so you're looking at a very linear map from the sense of the points. Like P1 and P3 are exactly like in the middle, halfway through the map, right in the middle. P4 is a pretty big money hill. P2 is a little bit more mixy, but it can be a pretty big money hill depending on how you play it. And I have seen a lot of the pros just play P2 from this hallway over here and kind of just shoot people and have one person sit point, and they're just sitting on these headies and just basically keeping this team spawning all the way on these side spawns for P2. Personally as well, I do like to play for P1, P3, and P4. If I lose P2, it's not the biggest deal. You just try to beam them off the point and just keep them away from it pretty much. But this is the anchor position on that. And let's jump into P2. I gotta clear all here. There we go. Perfect. Oh, I love that. Clear all is so useful. So P2 here, obviously your primary for P2 obviously is just right behind it. Actually, this one is still a primary as well, and then you have a secondary spawn which is just by this truck area right here. For the blue side, you have a primary right there, which is like right in front of them, and then your secondaries are a little bit further back pretty much, and then your revenge spawns are right over here and here pretty much. Again, it is better to make the enemy spawn at the revenge spawn, as it makes them further away from the point and they have to run. Obviously, it takes them a longer time to run to the point. To basically block these primaries, there is actually a little ledge right there. The map isn't actually perfect, and there's like headies right here as well. Actually, I think there might be 3 there. But basically, what you want to do is you want to just get up to that line right there. This is for red team. Red team, if you push up to this blue right here, even if you're inside, actually, even if you're, I think not there actually. If you're on catwalk to this area right here, pretty much, if you're in that general area, it'll pretty much block the primary and secondary, making them spawn to the revenge spawns, which are basically the furthest spawns again. And then obviously they have to run all the way. For red team, if you want to obviously hold the spawns and make sure you don't lose them, you do have an anchor position right over here, pretty much. If you have a teammate just playing in front of their in front of their spawns here, more than 98% of the times, you're pretty much anchored here, and you don't really have any issues. If you can get someone into this anchor position, for example, you're able to get one of your teammates into the anchor position, and no one else is in the anchor position. Obviously, you have now the anchor, so your priority will be spawning here, so it'll cause a spawn flip, basically, whoever's in the anchor position. That's why you'll see, I don't really know if anyone really knows this yet, but it's really easy to flip spawns, just get into the anchor position. Even if you're the enemy team. Like, if you want, obviously the blue team would want to spawn here, just get someone into the anchor position, and your team will spawn here. It's that easy, right? Like, it's not that hard to flip spawns, obviously. Red side, your primary are obviously just here. Your secondaries are just behind this truck, around the corner right over here, and then your revenge spawn is actually here. And actually, you do have a revenge spawn here as well. I always forget about this one. Again, I just want to make a point. Like, if you're spawning at the revenge spawns, that should tell you something. That should tell you that, okay, your side is being pushed. That's why you're not spawning either primary or secondary, right? Like, close. So your primary spawns basically happen if you control the objective. Your secondary spawns happen if the enemies control the point, and then obviously the revenge spawns happen if someone is blocking the primary and the secondary, right? That's why. For P3, blue side is definitely the most advantageous side just because of this this building, and there's two reasons. One, this indeed is a anchor position, so having a person or a teammate obviously in this will always give you the anchor, and then obviously because of that fucking balcony, bro, that balcony is pretty powerful. If you can get a fucking straight shooter up in there, obviously. So you're looking at a primary just outside here, a primary at the inside as well. Then your secondaries are going to be here, and then you have a revenge spawn all the way out here. If you're red side and you want them to spawn at that revenge, obviously, you have to push up to this red line. Pretty much just follows this truck like that. And it kind of goes all the way like that, pretty much. So that's roughly the area you want to push up to. If you can push up to that, that pretty much blocks the primary and secondaries, and the teammates and the enemies are going to spawn at the revenge spawn all the way out here. Same thing here. If the blue team wants to spawn the red team all the way at revenge, all they really need to do is just push up to this area right here. There's actually a little heady here. That's pretty much where I would suggest they push up to, because it's easy. You can just play the heady behind and back and forth like this. Yep. And that's going to block the primary secondaries and make them spawn here again. Then from here, either, you know, it depends what they're going to do. They're pretty much going to run through here, or they'll probably play for P4 if they're smart enough, you know. Now, P4 being inside this middle area, it does get a little bit complicated just because the spawns are so weird. And I'll explain, just because on this point there is an instance where split spawns happen way more likely, and it's just because. So let's just start with it. It makes sense once you can see everything. Your primary is here and your secondaries are here, so there's no revenge spawn. Red side, you have your primaries here, your secondaries are here, and then your revenge spawns are actually inside here, and there's actually one here as well. Actually, I think they're yeah. So those two, because of where the point is and how close the spawns are, it is very easy to pretty much cause a split spawn happening. And then obviously this outside area is your anchor position. Again, it's pretty much you're pretty much in the spawn, so it makes sense that you have an anchor position that is like anchoring the spawns while you're pretty much in the spawns, right? So that makes sense. But the basic idea is, a lot of the time, because you're looking at the back spawns here, they get blocked. So a lot of the times what the game will do is the enemies will start to spawn here. So blue team, if these are blocked, pretty much, you're spawning here, and the red team will spawn here. So you pretty much have a split spawn, right? Let me change the color on that. You have pretty much, or sorry, yeah, a split or like a parallel spawn, right? And then a lot of the times players don't realize this. So if you are blue team and you're controlling P4 and you spawn here, look out this way. Those are some easy kills. Play that catwalk and you can get some easy kills from the outside this way, right? Now, obviously, if you're red team and you spawn here, look out that way. You might get beamed from that catwalk. So that is very, very likely. Pretty much, like, what I've seen is 75% of the time, if you're spawning secondary as red team, they're pretty much spawning here. As long as your red team has influence in this building. Either someone outside of it, inside of it obviously helps a lot. But that's pretty much what causes the split slash parallel, whatever you want to call it, right? As long as there's someone in this building, from what I've seen from, you know, gameplay and whatnot and stuff, as long as there's someone in this building, or at least close to it, outside, whatever, you're gonna have a split spawn. Just because this person influences the spawns to basically not happen, and pretty much that is pretty much the primary reason I have seen why that split spawn happens. Other than that, there is a, I guess, like, block for the blue team if they want to push the red team to spawn at these the actual intended revenge spawns. And that pretty much is if the blue team, this is what I mean. Like, you have a person behind that car looking this way, you're blocking primary, secondary, and they're spawning revenge. That is pretty much the most primary reason I've found for the points so far. Of course, there's going to be different scenarios that I probably haven't seen yet from gameplay and whatnot and stuff. If any changes, they'll probably be in the description below. Other than that, I hope you guys are having fun. If you do want to get practice in 8s and everything like that, you can click the Discord link down below. They run, it's my friend's Discord, and I do play in the 8s sometimes. But they do 8s pretty much every Saturday, on the weekends basically. Every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're running 8s, even ranked, whatnot. You know, if you need people to play with, if you want to learn, just have fun, you want to get better. The lounge, that's what the Discord is called, that is the place to be. Other than that, don't look at that. Other than that, I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching the video, and peace out.